Summer's officially here, and the bikini sale at shackshop.us is happening right now. Get hot styles, bold prints, and perfect fits, all on sale for a limited time. Whether you're beach-bound or poolside, we've got the bikini that makes you feel confident, cute, and totally summer-ready. So don't wait. Head to shackshop.us and shop the sale before it ends. That's shackshop.us, your new favorite bikini spot.
A disrupted town hall and a public meeting of alarm, meant to address immigration concerns and community unrest in Minneapolis, was abruptly interrupted Tuesday night when a man surged toward the podium and released an unknown substance in the direction of Democratic Rep. Ilhan Omar. The congresswoman, who was speaking to constituents at the time, was not physically harmed, but the incident sent shockwaves through the room and reignited national anxieties over the safety of elected officials. Video footage captured the moment when the man shouted at Omar while discharging the substance, prompting a swift response from security and law enforcement. Attendees appeared startled, with several backing away as officers moved in to restrain the suspect. Despite staff urging her to end the event early and seek medical evaluation, Omar chose to remain and complete the town hall, later explaining that intimidation tactics would not deter her from engaging directly with the public. Omar's response: defiance over fear. Following the incident, Omar addressed the crowd with visible emotion but firm resolve. She spoke about her personal history as a refugee who fled civil war in Somalia and emphasized that her past experiences shaped her response to moments of threat. She told attendees that surviving armed conflict and displacement had given her perspective, stating that attempts to frighten or silence her would fail. Omar framed the confrontation as part of a broader pattern of hostility aimed at immigrant leaders and progressive lawmakers. Her decision to stay resonated with supporters in the room, several of whom applauded her refusal to yield under pressure. The suspect and law enforcement response. Authorities later identified the man accused of carrying out the attack as Anthony J. Kazmierczak, a 55-year-old Minneapolis resident. According to police, officers arrested Kazmierczak at the scene and booked him into Hennepin County Jail on suspicion of third-degree assault. At the time of reporting, court records had not yet listed formal charges or legal representation for the suspect. The Hennepin County Attorney's Office confirmed it had not received the case for review, indicating the investigation remains in its early stages. Forensic teams were dispatched to analyze the substance released during the incident. Officials said it was not immediately clear what material had been sprayed, and no injuries were reported. A climate of escalating threats. The U.S. Capitol Police released a statement condemning the attack and stressing that threats or acts of violence against lawmakers would be met with aggressive prosecution. The agency also highlighted a concerning trend. Last year alone, it investigated nearly 15,000 incidents involving threatening communications or behavior toward members of Congress, their families, or staff, a significant increase over prior years. Security experts note that town halls and public appearances present unique vulnerabilities, particularly during periods of heightened political polarization. The town hall took place against the backdrop of intense scrutiny on federal immigration enforcement in Minneapolis. Omar used the forum to sharply criticize recent actions by immigration agents, describing their tactics as destabilizing and harmful to immigrant communities. She accused federal authorities of engaging in what she characterized as reckless operations that spread fear rather than promote public safety. Omar reiterated her long-standing position calling for the abolition of Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ICE) and demanded accountability from the Department of Homeland Security's leadership. Her remarks drew strong reactions, both supportive and critical, reflecting deep national divisions over immigration policy. Community reaction and local leadership. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz responded publicly to the incident, warning that inflammatory political language contributes to an atmosphere where violence becomes more likely. He urged leaders across the political spectrum to temper rhetoric and reaffirm commitments to peaceful civic engagement. Several Republican lawmakers also issued statements condemning the attack. While many emphasized their policy disagreements with Omar, they stressed that physical threats against elected officials are unacceptable regardless of ideology. The bipartisan condemnation underscored a shared concern about the erosion of norms surrounding political discourse. Former President Trump's comments. The incident drew remarks from President Donald Trump, who dismissed questions about whether he had viewed footage of the confrontation. Speaking to reporters, Trump said he had no interest in watching the video and leveled harsh personal criticism against Omar. His comments drew swift backlash from Democrats and some moderates, who argued that minimizing or mocking such incidents risks encouraging further aggression. Supporters of Trump countered that his remarks reflected long-standing political disagreements rather than an endorsement of violence. A lawmaker under persistent scrutiny. Omar has been a frequent target of political controversy since her election to Congress. As one of the first Muslim women to serve in the House, she has faced sustained criticism, including accusations that critics say veer into racial or religious hostility. She has also drawn scrutiny from within her own party, particularly over past comments on U.S. foreign policy and Israel, which some Democrats said crossed rhetorical lines. In recent years, Republican-led efforts sought to remove or censure her over various statements. Some initiatives succeeded, others narrowly failed, illustrating how polarizing her presence remains on Capitol Hill. Financial investigations and allegations. Separate from the town hall incident, Omar is currently the subject of renewed scrutiny over her personal financial disclosures.
Documents filed last year indicated that her husband holds interests in several business ventures valued in the millions of dollars. Republicans have questioned how such wealth was accumulated and whether any improprieties occurred. Omar has denied wrongdoing, pointing to previous reviews that found no evidence of legal violations. A prior Justice Department inquiry reportedly stalled after investigators failed to substantiate claims. Nevertheless, the House Oversight Committee has signaled its intent to examine related matters, emphasizing transparency and due process. Immigration, identity, and belonging. At the town hall, Omar spoke emotionally about immigration beyond policy debates, framing it as a deeply personal issue. She described carrying her U.S. passport with her amid repeated calls from critics suggesting she should be deported, despite being a naturalized citizen for over 2 decades. She emphasized that the United States is the only home she truly knows, and expressed solidarity with immigrants experiencing fear amid intensified enforcement actions. Her remarks highlight how immigration discussions often intersect with questions of identity, belonging, and national values, political violence, and democratic norms. The attack on Omar fits into a broader pattern of political confrontations that have escalated into physical threats. Analysts warn that such incidents, even when no injuries occur, can chill democratic participation and deter officials from holding open forums. Town halls have historically served as spaces for direct dialogue between voters and representatives. Security experts caution that maintaining openness while ensuring safety is becoming increasingly difficult.